Because when what you knew turns into something new, it can turn what you do upside down.
Hey leaders, thanks so much for watching again. We just have a few weeks left in this year before we take our Christmas break and then we kick off 2017 together. So we are wrapping up our discussion about Upside Down this Sunday night. But before we get there, just was thinking and wanted to share with you a little bit just about some of my thoughts with small groups this week. But I was thinking, how do we measure our small group success as we go on leading together through ministry? And I've realized when you focus on the bigger story of a student's life, you begin to understand that your success inside the small group circle is measured by what happens outside of your circle. See, think about it this way. To see the greater impact you're making, look at a student's life Monday through Saturday. I think you'll begin to see that real life change happens throughout their weeks, not just on Sundays. What you do begins to impact their whole lives, not just their life here at church. Now that is success. And that's really incredible to watch. So I encourage you this week, take a look at your students outside of their Sunday night lives and see the success stories unrolling from their leadership to what they're involved with to what they're passionate about, because it is happening. So like I said, we are in week 3 of Upside Down. It's the last week of the Upside Down sermon series. For the past couple of weeks, we've been taking a look and talking about how Jesus took some of the most natural behaviors, our go-to thoughts on life, and turned them upside down. This week, we're looking at one more way Jesus turned things upside down by talking about how we treat people who don't really or can't really do anything for us. People who have no ability to improve our comfort or our status. People who don't necessarily guarantee that what we're going to do or what we're doing, we're going to have a good time when we're doing this. See, when it comes to this group of people, Jesus doesn't just say, be nice to them. In one word, Jesus says, serve the people who might not be able to serve or do for you sometimes, even when they can't. See, when it comes down to it, you and I have the opportunity to serve someone who can't serve you back, but sometimes we hesitate. Why? Because let's face it, sometimes serving people can be uncomfortable. It requires us to get out of our comfort zone, out of our routine and agenda, sometimes out of our circle and outside of our area or town, and to do something we're not used to doing. Getting involved in someone's life when they can't serve you back or they might not be able to serve you back is getting pushed into unfamiliar territory sometimes for us. Engaging with unfamiliar people that sometimes we try to pass by. So this week, we're looking at the story in Matthew chapter 25 where Jesus is talking about the end of times. Now, the purpose of these stories isn't to scare anybody, but it's to help us think about what really matters with the time that we have here on earth together. See, the passage reads like this, and it's a little bit long, so bear with me, but we're going to come back and talk about it through small groups and talk about it in this video. But it says, then the king will say to those on his right, he says, come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, God, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? When did we see you thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? And the king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you have done for me. That's a story from Matthew chapter 25, verses 35 through 40. It's a big chunk, but stay with me. You know what I love about this story? I love it because it wasn't about people starting a worldwide movement that got tons of attention and its own hashtag. It was something people simply did when they saw a need and actually did something about it. And Jesus is saying that he notices that sort of things when we do the small acts. They were small acts of service. They didn't go a long way, but they were something that some people did to serve people around them. But to God, it did go a long way. To God, it made a big difference. When you understand that serving is important to God, it puts a whole new spin on it. See, God notices. And you've probably thought about how it helps the people you're serving, but have you ever considered how much it means to God when you serve the people around you? To what extent is God paying attention? Jesus says that when we do something for someone, it's the same as doing it for God. He highlights that using the little phrase, whatever you did for the least of these, you do for me. Just to be clear, Jesus isn't saying that some people are less valuable, not at all. Jesus is talking about people who might be least powerful or least popular or least noticed or least rich or least able to take care of themselves. but we are hardwired as humanity to move towards the people who are the most popular, the most powerful, the most cool, the most wealthy. And what Jesus is telling us here about honoring people is we flip that idea upside down. And when we move towards the people who are the least, we can begin to be able to serve them the way that God serves us. And do you know what I think you'll find when we do this? I think we'll see that the least of these are more like us than we ever imagined, because serving people makes them much less of a category and much more of a human. It allows you to see that even though they might not have what we have, on the inside, we aren't very different at all. See, following Jesus means caring about the things that he cares about, and he cares a lot about people, about all people. And a lot of times when you tell stories about serving, we hear the story of, well, I expected to help someone else in need, but I got way more out of it than I think they did. And it's crazy how that happens. So this week, I want to challenge you to give it a try. You don't have to move to another country or sign up for a year of volunteering. Just do something, anything, for someone else in need. People you might not notice, but keep your eyes open for it. See, keep in mind, you don't have to do something alone, and especially you as leaders, get your whole small group on board. Most of our small groups have an organization that they support and they help out and participate with together. Serving as a group is way more effective and way more fun than by yourselves. So think about that this week is how can we begin to serve more and serve radically and serve for the least of these when it's outside of our comfort zone? And why is that so important? I'm looking forward to a great conversation this Sunday night. We'll see you at 4:45 for our small group leader meeting. And don't forget about our Christmas party, December 3rd in the evening time. We'll have a lot of fun together, so we'll see you there. Have a great week, guys. Bye.